Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Journey to Greatness. Day 124 with David McDonald, the GOAT. Hope you all had a wonderful Friday. I did. Yesterday was my cheat day. So I'm pretty happy, actually. I fought some temptation. I was supposed to go out last night, and I didn't. Good morning, Lee. Good morning, Liz. How's it going, guys? Happy Saturday. Fought some temptation last night. Didn't go out. That's, good. It's like I had one of those moments where it's like out and hanging out, and it's gonna be a blast, right? But then you don't do it because you gotta take care of business. And so it felt kind of good to say no. But please believe next week we out there. Alrighty, let's get to it. Alrighty. Alrighty, we're gonna get into our meditation routine here if you're joining us for the first time. Yeah, it's a very good time to really get in the zone and clear your mind. Find some peace away from the crazy world or the not so crazy world. I'll see you all on the other side. Alrighty, welcome back. Welcome back. All right, so we're gonna get into our reading routine. Right now, I know a couple of us are actually reading Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So far, it hasn't disappointed. It's been an awesome book. So I hope you guys are enjoying the book that you're reading. And I will see you guys on the other side. Mm. Damn. Alrighty. Welcome back. Welcome back. So we just completed our reading routine. Now we're gonna get into our journaling routine. And with our journaling routine, um, I usually like to start off by writing things that I'm grateful for. Journal 105. Journal day 105 today. But I usually like to start off with what I'm grateful for. And then I like to reflect from yesterday's success and growth that I experienced, and just pretty much plan out the rest of my day. So it's a really good way to kind of um, just get your thoughts out on paper and to really frankly track your journey as you move forward. So I'll see you all on the other side. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. So there were a couple spots in our book today that drew my attention, and the thing I like about this author in particular is that he does a very, very good job creating textual imagery. And what I mean by that is he's able to create like vision and almost a sense of emotion by the words that he's saying in his book that he's writing. So yesterday when we were working with Liz and on the journey and, just pretty much, making it happen, we started talking about, your ideas and how your intellectual property is priceless and how it's worth. It has there's no price tag that you can put on your intellectual contributions to anything. And so what we didn't go into was the different types of imagination. And so let me explain those now. Man's only limitation within reason lies in his development and use of his imagination. Man's only limitation within reason lies in his development and use of his imagination. He has not yet reached the apex of development in the use of his imagination faculty. He has merely discovered that he has an imagination and has commenced to use it in a very elementary way. So, in other words, we've talked about this before. Our only limitation is ourselves. So if we have the inability to think bigger, if we have the inability to imagine bigger or imagine a life for ourselves that we really deserve, that's our only limitation. So the two forms of imagination: synthetic imagination. Through this faculty, one may arrange old concepts, ideas, or plans into new combinations. This faculty creates nothing. It merely works with the material of experience, education, and observation with which it is fed. It is the faculty used most by the inventor, with the exception of the who draws upon the creative imagination when he cannot solve his problem through synthetic imagination. Number 2 is creative imagination. Through the faculty of creative imagination, the finite mind of man has direct communication with infinite intelligence. It is the faculty through which hunches and inspirations are received. It is by this faculty that all basic or new ideas are handed over to man. It is through this faculty that thought vibrations from the minds of others are received. It is through this faculty that one individual may tune in or communicate with the subconscious minds of other men. That's a big, big, big point. What this book is suggesting right now is synthetic imagination, if I'm tying this correctly, is synthetic imagination is your imagination that's essentially based off of the material that you poison yourself with, the positive material. So we say brainwash yourself with positive material, right? Is what we say. When you brainwash yourself with positive material, inspiring material, confidence building material, mind expansiveness material, imagination material, other people's stories who are really very, very, very successful, who tell you about their journey, and you learn their path and you memorize how they got there and you apply these things to your life. That's all stuff that you've actually like taken in and you've learned. Okay. The creative imagination is your ability to use, I think, your sixth sense, is what this is saying. So, for example, and this is something that I think should be taken very serious. He says, creative imagination, one individual may tune in or communicate with the subconscious minds of other men, of other people. That means telepathically communicate. Remember that? Okay. At one point I mentioned have you ever had that experience in your life when you thought about somebody and then shortly thereafter they called you? Telepathic communication. Some people will say it's crazy. Some people will say it's absurd, but all signs point to it. And every time I've said that to someone, they've always confirmed, like, yeah, I remember that time. I thought about this person, then boom, it happened. Or I thought about this and then boom, it happened. What you're doing is you are mentally connecting and telepathically communicating with people. That's a very, very strong tool when you learn how to use it the right way. Because you could use your powers for evil. And a lot of people who go through life, they use their powers for good and don't know anything that they're doing. And then they use their powers for bad and they don't know anything that they're doing. They don't know how intentional it is. But you can seriously disrupt a lot of frequencies. Now you're just having these energy wars, rather than like, physical war or, physical encounters. It's absolutely mind blowing, to say the least. So you can practice that, actually, creating your resistance and creating your strength around telepathically communicating with people. To continue, both the synthetic and creative faculties of imagination become more alert with use, just as many muscle or organ of the body develops through use. You got to use it. You got to practice it. Your creative, the things that we're doing on a daily basis, the journal is a perfect avenue. Like, for example, I got a call yesterday from one of my clients. And I've been working with them for maybe, I've probably been working there for like a year and a half. And there was times throughout the time when I've known them, well, first off, I found them their dream home. But the timing wasn't right. The universal timing for them wasn't right. I found them their dream home, and the house was sick. It was out in Seattle. It was in Skyway, and it had like a full view of Lake Union, and it was only like 600,000 or 500,000, and it was just crazy, right? It was a perfect home. Everything about it, absolutely perfect. But the universal timing wasn't right. So then for the next year, I spent pretty much following up and working with them. And then, like, not really working with them, there'd be times when I would message them and they wouldn't message me back. They would just, it would just go through. And I just kept doing that, with the highest and best intention that I've earned their loyalty. I've earned their loyalty and I've earned their business through the work that I did for them. And then the work that we worked through together, right? And then yesterday, out of the blue, wasn't even a thought on my plate. I get a call from, Michelle, and she's like, hey, we're ready to go. We got to be moved out by March. We're ready to go. And it just happened so fluidly. And I'm not saying that I applied like telepathic communication, but the thing is I'm creating other stuff right now. And out of that other stuff that I'm creating, which I could directly correlate that to my journal, but just for the sake of me keeping, my story. If you really want to know, we can meet up and I can show you. But I'm creating stuff in my journal and I'm seeing it, being fulfilled in real life all over the place. And it's crazy. but it's wonderful and it's something to embrace. So the only way that you can get good at it, and we'll have another featured guest, Veronica, here shortly in the next week or two, who manifested a job for herself, like we talked about, a couple of days ago. And the only way you can get good at it is by constantly working at it and building your brain, building momentum. And as you get better and better and you start seeing things show up in the world, you just get more excited. I mean, the world becomes your canvas. Okay, so let me continue here. Carry out the instructions best suited to your needs. Reduce your plan to writing if you have not already done so. The moment you complete this, you will have definitely given concrete form to the intangible desire. Intangible means not to be physically held. It's an intangible item. When it's not in my hand. When it is in my hand, it's a tangible item. So you create a concrete fact when you write it down. When you write it down and you recite over and over and over, and you brainwash yourself over and over and over and over and over, you just cut your whole skull open, pull it up over to the side, and just have a faucet of positive information just draining into your head all day, every day, affirmations. And this is all that you think about. You become consumed by it. And when that happens, when you write it down, it becomes a material fact. And then that fact will soon there show up in a year, the next day. You just have to be ready for it. And you got to keep creating. You don't just create one thing. Well, you can create one thing, but you continue to just pencil in more and more creations because you're moving, right? Oh, I didn't see that show up. Don't get discouraged. Keep creating. Like, what else do you want to do? What other characteristic do you want to learn or develop about yourself? And you just keep building. And then so you start staggering, right? And then when you stagger, boom, one thing shows up. You're like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. And then what about all those other things I was talking about? And then boom, that shows up. And then you stagger, boom, that shows up. And then you just keep creating. Every single day we are creating with our journals and with the material and everything that we're doing. And we're focused. Like, this is focused determination that I feel like, the Journey to Greatness community is doing. And I like it so much and I appreciate it so much because what other time in the day do we have to do this? We can think about it all day, right? But what other time in our busy lives do we have to do this? And so the book is suggesting to write it down. So that's another truth that, I wouldn't have known this on page 75 that we've been talking about for 125 days roughly. Now, this is a really big kicker and a huge connection. Moreover, and this statement is of stupendous importance, this earth, every one of the billions of individual cells of your body and every atom of matter began as an intangible form of energy. Desire is thought impulse. Thought impulses are forms of energy. When you begin with the thought impulse, desire, to accumulate money, you are drafting into your service the same stuff that the nature used in creating this earth and every material form in the universe, including the body and brain in which the thought impulses function. You are now engaged in the task of trying to profit by nature's method. You are sincerely and earnestly, we hope, trying to adapt yourself to nature's laws by endeavoring to convert desire into physical or monetary equivalent. You can do it. It has been done before. So what the author just did right here is he just connected the desire and the godly body, then the godly energy that's within us with the universe. When you think about how magnificent our bodies are, how they repair themselves, autopilot, like when we get sick, how, our body responds to sickness, red blood cells attack other, viruses that, and it's crazy. Like if you really sit down and you think about how wonderful the body is, I mean, nothing but deep is the fascinations of it for it, right? But check this out. The same magnificent energy that made our bodies, the same magnificent energy that is in the sky, stars, right? Trees, plants, animals, that same magnificent energy is a line connected directly into our veins. So imagine you have a tank. Imagine this is the entire world of energy, okay? And there's a cord that's stuck into this. And that cord comes out of this pool of energy. Now this is, imagine the entire world in this cup. All of the energy in the entire world is in this cup. The cord is stuck inside as a lifeline, and that cord goes out, and it's connected right into you, right? Just like an outlet plug right into you. You have the entire world in your hand. When they say the world is yours, frankly, it is yours. It truly is yours. The entire world's energy is in this cup. The lifeline exits the cup, and it outlets right into you. It plugs in right into you. So what the book is connecting, it's saying, to your wildest dreams, imagine how everything is how everything is created, and the forms in which it's created from, and where it started. And then it starts to talk about science. You are, like I said, and I'm going to repeat this, you are now engaged in the task of trying to profit by nature's method. You are trying to adapt yourself to nature's laws by endeavoring to convert desire into its physical or monetary equivalent. We started as an energy, right? Some people would say most things start as energy, and then they have translated into a physical space. Nature herself advertises it in the earth on which we live, the stars, the planets, suspended within our view, in the elements above and around us, in every blade of grass and every form of life within our vision. Nature advertises the secret in the terms of biology, in the conversion of a tiny little cell, so small that it may be lost on the point of a pin, into the human being now reading this line. The conversion of desire into its physical equivalent, certainly no more miraculous. Unless you have been a student of the mind, unless you've been a long student of the mind, it is not to be expected that you will assimilate or adapt all that is in this chapter upon first reading, but you will in time and make good progress. So I just think it's absolutely stunning. That imagery is absolutely amazing. We were just talking about that. And when we mentioned some time ago, we were talking about how in one room for possibilities, right? And this is another correlating thought, so it's another truth. Good morning, Yusuf. How's it going? It's another truth. And in this room, point of a pin, okay, you know, like a threading needle, like a little pin. The point of that, there's billions, more than billions of possibilities that exist just in the room that I'm in right now, right? I don't know if I can stress this enough. Like, this is the pinnacle of understanding your power, our power that we have as human beings on this earth, the power that God has blessed us with, the power that the universe has blessed us with, the power that the higher power has blessed us with. Doesn't matter how you really look at it. the power that science has blessed us with. I mean, it doesn't matter how you look at it. This is the pinnacle part. The possibilities and the thoughts we can't even fathom. That is the reason why nothing is unbelievable. That is the reason why nothing is impossible. That is the reason why you should be confident in everything that you do. That is the reason why you should be definite in everything that you do. That is the reason why you can become a millionaire. That is the reason why you can be the best person that you were set out to be in this lifetime. Is because the energy that surrounds us is so finite and multiplied to so many units, so many times over, that it plugs into us and therefore gives us the energy and the power to create and to go further extents telepathically communicate with people and a number of other things, waves of things that we can't even think about. And that's what makes this life is so fun, you know? And like Liz was saying yesterday, she feels like she has a much more enhanced, through her lifetime, she's built a more enhanced presence of self-responsibility. When you take responsibility and something goes wrong, it's kind of like you're doing something, you're working at something, right? And you're competing for something. My last bodybuilding show that I did, I got third place. If I was to go back and go for another round, I'm not doing this to lose. If I'm not getting first, I feel like I lost. Like first place is king. That's me personally, right? So what am I going to do? I'm going to go back. I'm going to revisit the plan. I'm going to see what I did do, and I'm going to see what I didn't do, and I'm going to see how do I build the bridge between what I did and what I didn't do, and then take first. Guaranteed, right? So there's nothing that would stop me. So my point is throughout life, you're constantly correcting and getting better. And so when she said that she was taking when you take responsibility and you say, okay, I'm responsible for this life. I'm going to do X. I am X person. And then in your daily endeavor, your daily movement, you fail at being that person. What do? Right? You go back, you see what you did do right, you see what you didn't do right, and the next day, you become a better person because why? You're bridging the gap. The next day, you go back again. I want to be X person. You come up short, but it's in a different way this time. What do? You go back, you say, all right, I'm going to figure out what I did right. I'm going to figure out what I did wrong. You bridge the gap. And so now what you're doing is you're building your character. You're becoming a better person for you. Not by my definition, not by anybody else's definition. You're becoming a better person for you. And that's all dependent on how you see yourself and the person that you want to be, obviously. And so that's powerful to me. Like when you take your responsibility, then you're able to create on a larger scale. And then when you start creating and things start showing up, if they don't show up the way they want you to, the way that you want them to, then you just go again, you go back and you just do the cross analysis. You build the bridge. And so I know I'm beating a dead horse right now, figuratively speaking, of course, but it's like I think this today was a huge, like, it hits home for me because like I truly believe that the universe is ours to command and wield, to wield and used in our power. So with that, I hope this has been something. I hope I've explained this very, very clearly, and I hope that I was able to connect on that dimension today, and that it helps you transcend to the next place of thinking and imagination and strategy and how you want to live your life to this degree of creating. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me on the Journey to Greatness. Hit up our Journey to Greatness page. This morning I'm going to start uploading those videos. I got to finish the intro on my new program, but once that's done, I'll start uploading the videos to our YouTube channel. and then we'll start directing everyone to go to our YouTube channel. So if you miss any of the episodes or you just want them in one place, because a lot of them may be lost in translation on my Facebook, well, then you can just go to one place, one hub plugin, and then I've named every single episode. So like at the end when we're talking just like this, like I go back and I listen to every single video, and then you can say, okay, well, what was this one about? You know, and then you could just, you know, click it. So it'll be a pretty, I think, a resourceful tool for me even to go back and listen and just to go through the practices again. So with that, I hope you all have the best day of your life today. I know I'm going to. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you tomorrow at 5 a.m. Peace.